This has not been a great year for the Michigan State football team, but recent history says this is not the norm. 5 of the previous 6 years, MSU had 11 wins or more. For the most part, this is a great time to be a Spartan. Even basketball. Tom Izzo is a Hall of Famer, and his team this year is highly ranked, with the season starting Friday, by the way. And all that success stems down from the man in charge of athletics there, Mark Hollis, a guy who is known for his creative personality almost as much as his program successes. So I thought we should chat. Okay, Mark, you're an athletic director. How did that happen? How do you become an AD?
I have no idea. It's one of those things that you just evolve into. It's as a basketball manager here for Judd, probably the best training to become an AD. It's being on top of everything, kind of having to do what others don't want to do. And in many aspects, that's what an athletic director is. It's getting resources, it's anticipating problems, trying to solve the problems before they become too big.
Can I become an AD?
Anybody can become an AD.
Really?
It's like Steve Martin said on the Tonys. You either got to do a hard work or be famous. You've already got the famous part. So it's
well, our list level celebrity, but
it's caring about people. It's being real. It's being honest. It's being genuine.
I have none of those traits.
You have none of those traits.
No,
I've heard.
But doesn't it strikes me as like George Costanza thinks he can just be the general manager of the Yankees. Like, it strikes me that people think AD is something you can just do. It can't be that simple.
Well, I think anybody that has an affiliation with an athletic department thinks they can be an AD. We get, frequent calls and emails and text messages on how I should do my job better, how the staff should do their job better.
How does scheduling work? Like, who calls who if you need to schedule a football game for 2022? Yeah.
Well, in basketball, if you ask Tom, he does all the scheduling. If you ask me, I do all the scheduling. And, when it goes bad, we blame each other. So it's all in perspective.
But does a coach ever get mad? Like, is Mark like, Oregon? Really? You want me to play Oregon in football?
Mark, he was good with that one. He probably got a little more challenged when I walked in and said, we want to do a deal with Air Force, which is a different assignment. It's preparing for one game where Oregon more has a feel that you might see during the Big Ten from some of the other opponents that run fast-paced offenses and the like. But, coaches kick back a little bit. Tom's always been anyone, anywhere, anytime. Right. And then when you schedule that way, he gets a little angry saying you've scheduled too many any's.
This Tom Izzo character, you were roommates with him.
We were roommates.
When
now our daughters are.
Really?
Really. It's we were back in the 83, 84,
Okay,
85.
so it wasn't like last year you were living together.
No. I didn't live in his basement or anything like that.
Okay, good. That's healthy.
Yeah. But we did live in a basement. It was a garden level apartment. He had just moved down here from northern Michigan as a grad assistant. I was a senior manager, and Judd said neither one of you can afford anything, so lived together. And it was a forced marriage, I guess.
Who was the worst roommate? Because there's always one guy.
Yeah, we were like the odd couple, and I was probably more like Felix. It was interesting. He was a good cook. He made dinners. It was spaghetti every night, but he made dinners.
He's Italian.
He's Italian. The challenge is he's your best friend, but he's also a guy that you have to keep. I don't want to say in check, but you're his boss.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure that the things that are going on are in a good place. And he's never given us any reason to think otherwise.
Last one. You are the chairman of the men's basketball committee this year. Is that the most thankless thing you've done in your tenure as AD?
No, it's not. And
it's this interview?
Close to this interview. It's something you aspire to when you're in this profession. I wanted to be on the committee since the 80s when I first started working in college sports. What you get to do and the impact you have on student athletes and teams way beyond your campus is fabulous. The people you get to meet, good for your position here at Michigan State.
I lied about the last one. This is the last one. If I was a student athlete of yours, what would you say to me?
I have a feeling you'd be in my office a lot. I admire what you've done and how you've done it. Not afraid to take risk. Put yourself on a show that you handled in an extremely good way.
This is much nicer than I thought it'd be, Mark.
No. It's so the question I would have is, what are you going to do with the rest of your life when you grow up?
Not coming anytime soon, man.
No. Don't let it come soon.